Good morning, everyone. Hope this email finds you before I do. My name is Penny, and welcome back to being 6'1", wearing platform boots and walking around the forest, like a cryptid. A bit of a moth woman, they call me. I can't lie, chat. I'm a walker. I'm walk-pilled. I be strolling, lollygagging almost, some would say. But yeah, I like it, waking up early in the morning. Well, not early. I've been waking up at 10 a.m. I'm not even gonna lie, it's Christmas. I'm staying up late, and I'm waking up even later. But anyway, going to the forest, strolling. I've been listening to audiobooks on my walks. I'm currently reading Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellors. I hope I said that name right. And I'm roughly halfway through. At this point, Frank is buying sugar gliders to cover up the fact that he clearly wants to cheat on his wife who's done nothing but support him, but so is the life of many women, I guess. That sucks, but I love this book. I hate how relatable it can be at times, especially the trans femme character Quentin, who for me does what books like this, The Bell Jar or My Year of Rest and Relaxation, aim to do, which is relate. Some portions of this book are so relatable it made me feel sick at times. As of tomorrow night, it'll be New Year, and while on my walks I've been thinking about this, Quentin, and what this year has been for me, which honestly, it sucked. It's been terrible. Yeah, this year sucked, but it's probably been the most important year of my life. Entering into this year, I was unhappy, but trying, and I think I kept that going for the most part until like November-ish when things actually started to get good again. I was set on achieving my New Year's resolutions, and by summer, I had done most of them, the biggest ones being finally getting under 200 pounds, for context, I'm 6'1", passing my driving test, and getting a promotion at work, although that last one caused a lot of stress. Towards the end, those 50-60 hour work weeks were not fun, but God, I'm better for it, so I guess it was worth it. It would be unfair to talk about this year and not mention the obvious part, which is me coming out as transgender. I don't want to talk about this too much in this video specifically, because this Friday, January 3rd, I'll be releasing one of a series of videos talking about that subject. For me, it's obviously really important, and I want to take my time covering it. Also, with the social and political climate, there's a lot of angles that I can tackle it from, and I want to give my perspective. Coming out and the realization was an intensely stressful experience that forced me to confront not only myself, but those around me. Outside of myself, there was also having to reckon with the state of the world for those trans women. The world I am choosing to be myself in is one where it's not particularly safe to do so, and that's a scary thing, but I would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. So while I've just described it in 2 or so paragraphs, it was months of mental challenges to work through, but now we're here. We're at the end of the sort of torture and the beginning of the good parts, so in a way I'm glad this has all happened. I will say good riddance to 2024, but I do recognise that this year was the beginning of the rest of my life, and for that I am deeply thankful. Looking forward, next year is going to be scary. The Big 22 is on its way. I'm practically ancient by internet standards at this point. Y'all can just call me auntie, but hopefully I'm going to move out, socially transition, and finally get that clothing brand launched. But most importantly, I'm going to buy this Mason Margiela bag. Just look at it. Look at this goddamn, this bag is beautiful. I would sacrifice everything for it. I'm joking, obviously. But speaking of financial maturity, let's talk about this channel. Starting next year, probably February, I want to make an essentials playlist. And what I mean by this is, I know a lot of you are younger, and I recognise that I've got plenty of shit that I still need to figure out. So with this in mind, I want to cover things like saving money, sewing, cooking, cleaning. Hopefully we learn to be adults together. I recognise for a lot of us the internet is kind of our guide, which is kind of what my last video was about. So if I can be of any help, I will try. And also it gives me an excuse to learn these things as well. The reason that I said February is because I've got January's content already planned and most of it ready. As much as some of you might like me to upload them like back to back to back, I think giving myself the time to learn and work will be a greater help than trying to maintain a constant schedule, which will inevitably lead to the content suffering and me suffering, which is more important, sorry. But I have a book review of The Bell Jar, 2 videos on being trans, one on imposter syndrome, and another on the value of long-term relationships, both platonically and romantically. So if that sounds fun, stick around. Like me, undoubtedly, you have your own plans for 2025, and motivation is at an all-time high. Plans are great, but structure is important, and my ADHD ass hates that that's true. Now, I'm not going to tell you to download Notion because, well, maybe that might work for some of you. Notion does not work for me. What I will say is get a goddamn whiteboard. What I've learned over this year specifically is that I need visual cues. If something isn't written down or actively in my environment and I simply just have to remember to do it, then it's not getting done. I'm going to forget about it, I'm going to do something else that's probably not as important, and I'm going to put it off. So having a whiteboard right at the end of my bed that I can look at right before I go to sleep every day and be like, okay, that's what I'm working towards, or that's what I'm working on, has been a giant help. So I do highly recommend it. You can get them off Amazon for like £10. They're really cheap. But yeah, having those visual cues alongside some action plans, which I'm going to be building up over the next few days or so, that's a great start. If you're British, this might trigger some PTSD-esque flashbacks, but genuinely, SMART objectives are extremely useful. SMART standing for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. It's easy to get carried away when making plans. We overestimate what we can do. We overestimate what we can do in a short period of time and underestimate what we can do in a long period of time. So this is a great reminder to make small but common steps. And if you are an ADHD gremlin like me, those small wins are very good for dopamine maxing, which God we need. But yeah, I'll see you next year. Thank you for everything. I hope you stick with me through this next year of me talking about random bullshit. And yeah, it's a time for new beginnings. I've been Penny. Pull over if you get tired. Call me back, and bye.